Yo, what's up guys? So we're here to go over a new updated God Hero deck. We're utilizing the God Phoenix Gearfried and the Hero engine. So this hand, not very good, but I just want to show you guys how powerful this card is just alone. You can splash this in anything, pretty much. No, more so in Warriors, but nonetheless, it opens up the doors for so much. So normally, like the Hero combos decks will just go for like a Dark Law Assault and set up for, of course, the Aznees turn 1. Very common play, very consistent. I just didn't get lucky. But let me show you guys how powerful just one copy of this card is. So this card special summons the Gemini. He's going to go ahead and Ash Blossom. We're going to go ahead and call by the grave that giant forehead. And then we're going to go ahead and summon the Yugioh. The Yugioh will go ahead and activate its effect and bring back the God Gearfried. And then the following turn, this is what I feel like makes this so OP. Literally this card, the next turn, because you activate it during your opponent's turn because it's a trap card, you special summon your card. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of the Gemini Ablation once again. And we're going to go ahead and just get rid of Yugioh. And because it's a Gemini that was attributed, we're going to go ahead and be able to special summon another copy of God Gearfried, which has a quick effect that I can negate a opponent's monster effect, plus it can absorb monsters. And on top of that, this card, if you tribute a Gemini that that has the Gemini effect, you're going to be able to actually pop another card. So basically at this point, we got double cards that can snatch steal, and they have a quick effect that can negate effects, and then on top of that, they actually absorb your opponent's monsters, which is most of the time better than just sending it to the graveyard because then they don't get the bonus. And then on top of that, you're getting rid of a card. So literally, I didn't even get to show you guys the good turn 1 play. And I'll show you guys a few different gameplays here. This is against a weird deck. But I also want to update you guys on a build because I did play a few different builds here in this gameplay, but I want to mention like a way better turn 1 board that's super consistent. I just totally forgot Phoenix Blade here because I was actually up on the Cursed Bamboo engine, which is actually really good because, well, the Bamboo engine allows you to go ahead and go for those free pluses because if you happen to run 2 copies of the Bamboo Sword, it's totally fine in this because we're going to go ahead and Pot of Greed him, and this card is an equip. Mind-blowing, easy, free additions of equips, because remember guys, Gemini Ablation, I'm going to be able to activate it during my opponent's turn, and if I get rid of God Gearfried over here, so you can see I'm discarding God Gearfried, Yugioh's going to go ahead and target God Gearfried to special summon. Unfortunately, he had Called by the Grave. I mean, I don't even know who's playing Vanilla Pendulums in 2019. The guy is wild, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. This board, turn 1, is going to be really consistent to be able to pull off, and I'll explain like the best way to actually play this. Because you basically are going to set up for double negations plus this is easy OTKs right here. Because what will happen most of the time when you're playing against, when your opponent is playing up against, the whole idea is to get rid of Dark Law. And Dark Law is always going to have Aznees because you can search it off of Shadows, you can search it off of Shadow Mist, you can also search it off of Assault. So like, you're going to have this. You're going to have Assault this. But then if you followed up with a Phoenix Blade, and unfortunately he did have Called by the Grave, but if you didn't have that, we would have also had God Gearfried, and that allows for easy OTKs maybe if you were to use this card to keep this card alive. The deck is very consistent on being able to throw out a turn 1 Assault, Dark Law, and then again, this is a card that's technically not searchable, but there's a lot more support coming out for, of course, the Geminis, and this is just like the early introduction of this deck because we only got like, what, 4 cards out of the new structure deck revealed so far that are new cards. But anyways, like I said, it's very common you're going to throw this out turn 1. But another thing I wanted to mention is if you happen to have an equip card, equip it immediately because when you summon your God Phoenix Gearfried, you will be able to immediately just go ahead and have its effect live because it does have to get rid of a face-up equip. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and summon Yugioh. So I ended up getting rid of Super Volley, but I misclicked. You got to get rid of Gearfried, and then this will let you resummon it. But obviously, it's an easy win. If someone's playing Dark World and you have Dark Law, like that's a no-brainer. It's not going to be a challenge at all. But I also wanted to showcase off, in that duel, the most important thing was if the trap card is destroyed, the target destroyed, you can chain it and it will still get your monster. Your monster does not get destroyed. You can still proc the effect. That was the point of the last one, even though it was totally a blowout. The important thing was, the question that I saw is like, well, if you chain it to your opponent's destruction, do you still get the monster? And the answer is yes, it's good. But anyways, like I said, And this is like a pretty standard play for the deck. Remember, off of your sold, you can't summon this card immediately, but if you happen to open up with God Phoenix Gearfried, you can go ahead and summon it turn 1. It's totally fine. And then, like I said before, with the whole Bamboo Engine, activate the cards immediately. It's definitely great because with the Bamboo Engine with Gearfried, you can just go ahead and send that face up. You go ahead and search out another one. I'm honestly contemplating triple Bamboo in this because not only do you get to search out like the Pot of Greed, but you also have the equip. So he goes ahead and makes the new 10E Synchro. We obviously have this card to run over that. We're gonna go ahead and just run over his cards. And Dark Law is so strong already, it makes it even more powerful. Like if you can follow up Dark Law plus a God Gearfried, and you'll always have this card. So basically you have this card that cannot be destroyed by battle, essentially. I mean, it's 4,900. Most things aren't going to be able to get that much attack. And then, again, you follow it up with a God Phoenix Gearfried to also protect it. And keep in mind, this card will get boosted if it absorbs an opponent's monster. You're looking at a pretty decent board. And then if you can have Impermanence or a Super Poly, it will be great indeed. But anyways, now that I showed you guys some gameplay, I want to talk about suggestions for the deck because I did modify this deck for recording purposes. Specifically, I do this a lot, I'm sure, and if you guys are new to the channel here, I do this a lot. We always put in Magical Mallet so I can really showcase off the newer cards and I can try to open up with them more consistently. Occasionally, I will throw Reload in there. It's literally just to showcase off opening up with certain cards because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has gotten to be a very fast game, and literally opening up Gemini Ablation is insane because you can just go ahead and make a board of double of these for discarding any cards. If you want to mix in Dangers, you want to mix in, I don't know, there's a lot of, you can even Fabled. I was actually thinking about that the other day, just a Fabled engine just in general with the Dangers archetype. But just summoning double of these is already like just strong because you get double Snatch Steal. You have a quick effect that you can send a face-up equip card, which obviously you're going to absorb your opponent's monster. Now keep in mind that you can only you can only use each effect of it once per turn, but at the same time, like you got monsters that have 3,000 attack, easy summon. Like literally, you make a soul, you send all those 4 equips. Well, you can summon all of them, or you could just go ahead and Gemini Ablation and just summon them from there. So it's really good. But anyways, let me go ahead and explain like the ideal like turn 1 combo that's 1,000% consistent. Like you're going to be opening it with it like 90% of the time. So obviously going for a soul is pretty easy. Activate a soul's effect. You go ahead and special summon Shadow Mist, sending those cards to the graveyard. Now when you send Phoenix Blade to the grave, in addition to this, you're going to get basically this is going to be added to your hand because you're going to banish the heroes. That's a given. But with Cursed Bamboo Sword over here, this card that you add, you want to actually utilize it really fast. So what I mean by that is if I go ahead and summon like Solid Man, Stratos, I want to actually, before going for a soul, if I open up with one of the Cursed Bamboo Swords, I want to actually equip it to one of the monsters. This will send one of the copies of Cursed Bamboo Sword to the graveyard, which will proc its effect to be able to add one. That will give you the Pot of Greed effect because you can, when this card goes to the graveyard, you get to add 1 Bamboo Sword card from your deck to your hand. So that's really good for that. But it also has another utility because it happens to be an equip card in this deck. I was even thinking, I'm like, this is actually kind of OP, right? So I can go ahead and Curse Bamboo Sword, activate the effect of God Gearfried, and then once this goes to the graveyard, I get to go ahead and add another card. So that's really good, and it's just free, like, recycling. Like, you said one, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and search. And then you could go ahead and add this, or this, and then you can follow up the next turn with a Pot of Greed. Very good stuff, very simple. And another thing that is so simple that I did kind of mention it, but I want to mention it again. So, anyways, first off, if you open up with any of the copies of the Cursed Bamboo Sword, equip it, then make a soul. Then once you go ahead and go for a soul is going to go ahead and send 4 of the equips. You're going to go ahead and summon Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist will then let you add this. Don't activate this effect the same, like the first turn. You want to activate this during your opponent's turn, kind of for the surprise effect, but mostly because you want to be able to proc this effect over here, where it's going to go ahead and let you add a hero monster, which will always be on Aznees. So let's go and move this over here. So we're going to go ahead, move this out of the way because this is going to become a Dark Law, and then this card's going to go ahead and search you out another hero, which will be more likely it's going to be this card over here. So your turn 1 play is going to be Isolde, Dark Law, and when you send those cards with Isolde, you're going to have a Bamboo Sword. It could be this one, it could be this one. Just don't search out this card, and the reason why you don't want to search out this card first, unless of course you happen to have this card, the reason why is because it's an equip card. So let's say you just open up with this card and the soul combo. That's basically what we're gonna say we start out with. You can also technically discard one of the Bamboo Swords to proc its effect too. That's why I was talking about like man, I'm just gonna run multiple copies of Bamboo Sword because it's so good in this deck. So Anyways, yeah, you're going to go ahead and search out one of the bamboo swords, and you can use that as discard fodder to search out like one of the other cards if you want to, but you'll always be able to equip this. A lot of people do equip this to Darklaw, however, I feel like Darklaw is usually a priority. Having a Soul Survive can be great, especially if you open up with Super Poly for an extra zone target. Of course, you have Mud Dragon, there could be other targets. This is another really popular target that I like to go for. But having that extra monster zone can be great as well. But then our turn 1 play becomes Isolde, Darklaw. I usually like to equip this to Isolde versus Darklaw. Again, this card is already going to have 4,900 attack. So if you're really afraid that you need to make the monster have 5,200 attack, then by all means, go for it. But then you're going to have Gemini Ablation, and this will usually let you, you're going to go ahead and get Evique, and then if you happen to discard this card, off of Ablation, which you can search out this card with Isolde. And keep in mind, you can't activate it the same turn, so you're going to follow up with it, and then you're going to go ahead and have this as your board. And then the following turn, you're winning the game. So basically, your turn 1 play becomes, I have a Darklaw, I have this equipped to Isolde or Darklaw. You also have Honest Neo, so they're not going to be able to get over Darklaw. And then you also happen to have God Gearfried that can activate his effect immediately because you happen to have an equip card. And then you have Evique over here, which can actually get rid of itself the following turn with Ablation to get you a second God Gearfried. So, and then hold on, we're not done. You also get to pop a card with this. So now that I've kind of explained it, you guys can see how good this deck is just on its own. Like, I can't wait to see what other support we get, because literally Isolde, it just makes this card so broken. You literally activate this effect once, and if you draw this card, the other way to summon it is literally just banish one equip card. How difficult is that? Like, you set yourself up literally with just one Isolde. To go completely off, and it can be really good. Another thing I was thinking about, like, Power of the Guardian is actually really insane, because most of the time, like, this card is always a priority target for people, and I was like, yo, I can boost up the attack of this card. I can also happen to make it so it can't be destroyed like once. You know, if it would be destroyed by battle of a card effect, I can remove a spell counter. Sometimes you get 1 to 2 counters. That could be great for that as well. But anyways, now that I explained it, I want to go over a quick little deck profile. I know I had to explain that because I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait, why didn't I add this? That was just a small mistake. I totally forgot about that card, but it was important to explain that in the combo step for our plays. But anyways, let's go ahead and go over the deck profile now. So triple copies of God Gearfried, 1 Honest Neo, double copies of Stratos, Evique, 3 copies of him. Again, we're going to get a lot more Gemini support, so we might not even need some of these other cards later down the line. But anyways, Solid Man, and then we've got Shadow Mist, 2 copies of the Butter Spry. This card just lets you dodge some of the hand traps, but honestly, I would rather them use a hand trap earlier before going for a Soul, because a Soul is so important for the deck. Like, you literally activate a Soul and you win. Anyways, I decided to go with 1 copy of each of the hand trap, because usually with Darklaw, they can't activate a lot of cards anyways, because a lot of the cards needed with the Grave. So I was like, let's go 1/1. I know this doesn't affect me using them, but it's just that a lot of times I would prefer to have other cards like Super Poly just so I can deal with boards that are already pre-established. I also wanted to mention something. Nibiru would 1000% be in the deck. I usually would swap out Magical Mallet for Nibiru, but for gameplay purposes, I like to open up with this turn 1 to show you guys the cards. But Nibiru 1000% is going to be triple in every single deck that I make, because 1, you have an easy discard outlet if it's absolutely useless with this, but in addition to that, I guess with the Nightmares, you can also get rid of it. But the thing is that, like, if I was to get gameplay and I activate Nibiru, my opponent's literally just going to quit the game. It's just not going to showcase off good examples, right? And then on top of that, you have another 3000 attacker. It's just huge. But anyways, match change, we want to get rid of those hand traps because the Soul is what runs this deck. 3 copies of Super Poly, because heroes, wow, there's a lot of great targets for heroes, and especially since this will search out another hero. You're not going to usually summon this card, but in the right circumstances, if you already have this, or if you have another hero, you can just have easy access to, of course, going for those Super Polys. And then we have, of course, our equips. I usually like Power of the Guardian, Moon Mirror Shield, Phoenix Blade, Living Fossil, the Bamboo Sword engine. Honestly, I'm contemplating on pumping specifically just Cursed Bamboo Sword at max, because again, the card is just so good, because it can recycle itself and go into, like, it's never really a dead draw, because I will just go ahead and go into a Soul, send the card to the grave, and then I can add another card that can just be an equip for, of course, setting up for God Gearfried, for the God Hero deck. Anyways, and then of course, 3 copies of Gemini Ablation. This card is absolutely absolutely insane. Contemplated on giving you guys some gameplay of Temple of the Kings pluses. I mean, could you imagine this turn 1? Like, how OP is this turn 1 to just be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, and I could literally do it turn 1. It requires Temple of the Kings. I was even thinking about Temple of the Kings the other day. Okay, I feel like this is a separate video here. But I was actually thinking about how good is it which. Okay, I just legitimately got a playset of 3 Witch's Strike. I'm like, dude, if I go second, right, and I just go slam Temple of the Kings down, they're not going to negate this. And then I'm going to be like, okay, I'm also going to go ahead and set Witch's Strike. And then I'm going to go ahead and be like, yo, I'm going to go for my play. Oh, you negate anything? Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and destroy all cards, everything. Unfortunately, like, most decks not only can negate this card, because it's not a counter trap, for I don't know what reason. They didn't make this a counter trap, so other things can negate it, but you have to wait for it to, like, fully resolve, which is just, I don't know. I wish it negated that effect and then got rid of everything and it was a counter trap, but, I mean, that's just the way it is. But anyways, oh, extra deck, sorry, my bad, I didn't go over this. Dan, Starving Venom Fusion, Anki, Nova Master, actually, you know what, I had a gameplay, I guess I didn't say it. There was one gameplay where I summoned Nova Master and I literally drew like 4 cards. Because like he just couldn't get over. Oh, it was versus a Gravekeeper deck, that's what it was. Literally just summoned this card off of a Super Poly. Anyways, Shining, Esquerdad, and then Zero, Darklaw, Gaia, Mud Dragon. Common, this is only because it's a warrior. And then Thousand Eyes, because, dude, it's so good. I'm honestly debating on just running 3 of these, because if I go for some type of a hero play to get stopped, I can just go, okay, Instant Fusion, either absorb their card, or I can just go ahead and go for Kabanawa Warrior, and then just go into a soul. It's just like an extender, and it can be quite good. At times, and then I'm just running this. You know, with this whole, like, I kind of want to play multiple, like, I wanted to run all of the other hero targets. Honestly, I'm gonna drop this card 1000%, and I honestly would probably consider running 2 copies of Soul. Sometimes if it gets disrupted, maybe you can disrupt your opponent. Again, normally you'd be running 3 Nibiru, and that basically shuts down your opponent's entire turn, and then you can follow up your turn with another copy of a Soul, because sometimes I feel like I just want that other effect of a Soul. Just when it's linked summon, you just add a warrior monster, which of course just will be this, and I can follow up with it again. This card's just too good, man. If they make any Gemini card that just like instantly lets you just add Ablation turn 1, this deck will be absolutely insane. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the new updated God Hero deck. Like, God Phoenix Gearfried plus Darklaw is just such a dirty combo. And again, because they can't get rid of Darklaw, and then because this will just get rid of an effect, and the following turn you're going to be able to get another one. It's so easy to pull off too. But like I said, a very simple turn 1 play, which is pretty much just, you want to be able to open up with this. And then you might get a Pot of Greed too. It's just kind of RNG. But anyways, man, this video is way too long. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it to the end, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Turn on that bell if you want to see more cool, unique Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And I honestly think this deck has a little bit of potential. Depending on what other support we get for Gemini, we could be looking at a very strong and competitive new deck indeed. Because Darklaw just says no to all of the meta, man. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.